between Washington State and the Cal game, this year seemed like something clicked, and any monumental moment, or did something happen between those two games? Because the team looked different.
I think what you said could have been said for the Seattle U game. I think in the Seattle U game when we played back in December, I thought it was one of the first times that we had that type of attitude out there on the floor, where we were aggressive, we were tough-minded, and we were together on both sides. And we played Jackson State after that, and that wasn't quite there again. That's when I first started to see some of this, and it's taken a little time. So what clicked in, I don't know, but I do know it started to coincide with guys coming back off injuries. And Andrews didn't play that game. I know Scott Suggs played that game. Sean Kemp played that game. Andrew came back, and we were able to rest a couple guys a little more. Also think, and keep repeating myself, I'm sorry, but we got a little better feel for what we want to do offensively. I think that allowed us to kind of took the handcuffs off on the defensive end too. We started to just play. With everyone healthy, and now we're just playing, I think it's helped us. And when I say that, it's helped us up to this point. It's a whole different ball game tomorrow. We have to continue to try to improve and not rest on the fact that we've won 3 games.
What tangible changes in the conference season for the home games? I mean, there's a 2-month stretch there of home games, some against teams that your guys never even heard of, and now it's indisputable that the season changes for home league season. What's
Greg, I'm not sure I understand your question.
What's different about home conference games as opposed to non-conference games?
I don't know. Football's pretty exciting around here. Football season's over, and there are other sports that are going on, but basketball's going on right now. The familiarity with the opponents, and just the competitiveness of conference year in and year out, conference play. Students are back, students are here. I think a number of those things come into play.
In these past 3 games, would you say though your team has sort of renewed its commitment to rebounding and defense?
I think so. Desmond Simmons and Aziz Njai are 2 of the top 10 rebounders in our league, but now C.J. Wilcox, back-to-back games, gets 8 and 9 rebounds, 8.5 rebounds a game the last 2, and he's been picking his rebounding up. You add that to those 2 guys, everyone else starts to follow suit. That's helped us.
And it would seem that you could really hammer that message when you play on the road about the importance of rebounding and defense and not taking 2 to 3 minutes off. But now that you get home, is there any fear that, hey, we can play a different way at home, we can score more, we're probably going to shoot better, and so does the winning formula change?
No, shouldn't. It really shouldn't. We've talked to our team from day one of being able to play a certain way, a standard way, Husky basketball. You defend, you rebound, you share the ball, and you compete. You do those 4 things at a high level, and you give yourself a chance to be competitive in any game, whether that's on the road or at home.
There were a couple of times earlier in the season where you went back to a motion offense for stretches because the high post was kind of stagnant. What have you seen in the last few weeks that has made the high post more efficient and guys are getting better looks, better shots out?
Reps, understanding. From day one, we've talked about it. It takes a while for the guys to get it. And we still don't totally have it. We watched film with our team yesterday. There were over half a dozen possessions where we didn't execute the way we were supposed to. We went to the wrong spots. I don't mean we missed a screen. I mean we just went to the wrong spots. So we're still totally trying to get it, but we've come a long ways here. down the stretch in that game, there's several times when Abdul had the ball, looked to the bench, looked at the high post, and we ran it, and guys ran it, got a shot, so that's encouraging to see. But early on, we're trying to learn it. Now, I'll say this, there may be a game this year where we run motion a lot more too. Sometimes it's just the way you're being guarded, the way you're defended, you have to adjust a little bit. And that's why that's not the only thing we run in the half court.
You also mentioned at the start of the year you thought this team would have good chemistry, and then we talked about it on the road trip that came up again. What are indicators to you that the chemistry is good, and does that particularly show up when games are tight on the road, or if you lost a lead, or when times are more difficult than not?
Guys have accepted their roles. Whether they've liked them or not, they've accepted them. That's very important, that they realize, okay, my role on this team to make this team the best it can be is, and they've gone out to try to do that. I think that's one area. I think guys understand where other guys are effective. I even think defensively, some guys understand that we need to help, but need to help even more because this particular guy's guarding the ball isn't as good a defender on the ball, and they understand that, they help. On the flip side, that guy's got the ball, he's gonna take care of that. That guy's not beating him. I'm gonna get tighter and deny my man here. I think just understanding of who you're playing with on the floor is really good. One of my favorite plays, maybe my favorite play up to this point in the year of any game, is we pointed this out to our team. We got the ball, I forget if it was a rebound or a steal, but we gained possession in the Stanford game, and as they broke out, Desmond, Simmons, and C.J. Wilcox were running on the right side of the floor. And I'm watching this, I'm thinking, what is he saying to him? And I'm looking. Sure enough, as soon as Desmond got the ball, he's running. He sees C.J. right there. He says, keep running, C.J. I'm going to screen for you, as they're running down the floor. So now you see them running, and you see Desmond do this. He's motioning, literally doing that. He screens out of nowhere. There's no play, just we're playing basketball. C.J.'s wide open, knocks a three down. That's chemistry when things like that begin to happen.
Coach, CJ's fought through a few injuries since he's been here. Last year he had to kind of limit his minutes. Are you comfortable with him playing big minutes at this point in time?
Yeah, he's close to the top in the league in minutes played. We try to give him a couple of minutes a half. Ideally, probably 32 minutes a game would be ideal, 32, 33. Our games have been so close, and every possession has been so important that it's hard to keep him out of the game. When you have a guy that's knocking shots down like that, and he's defending and he's rebounding, he's just kind of doing it all. Lead your team in block shots as a guard, first or second. It's hard to keep guys like that out of the game.
Are you noticing is it just more his game developing, or is he getting stronger, physically tougher, or just growing up?
He's maturing, and CJ, what is very underappreciated about his game is his quickness. And the scouting report, I'm sure CJ's name is huge up there on their board. They keep talking about if you let this guy shoot the ball, you're coming out of the game. I'm sure there's a lot of pressure, but yet somehow he finds a way to get open looks sometimes, and it has a lot to do with his ability to separate because he's so quick. He has the innate ability, a knack for lulling you to sleep, looking around, and he's gone. And you're thinking he's going this way, and once he takes off, he has such quick feet. It's hard to stay with him at times. Well, he uses those same quick feet and that athleticism on the defensive end. He can close out the shooters so fast. Their guy, Gabriel Harris, tried to go one-on-one with him late in the game. CJ just goes up and spikes it right down there. It's just such a quick jumper. because he's maturing, because he's getting stronger, he's gained a lot of experience. I think he's able to take all of these gifts and start to apply them in a game situation and do more than just shoot. He probably has surprised himself by some of the things that he's done on the defensive end.
Yeah, so after the game on Saturday, we talked about him, but did you think that was his best game as a Husky?
Best all-around game. I thought his game against St. Louis was very efficient early in the year. But when you look at, this game was on the road, and he almost had a double-double on the boards. And down the stretch, how big he was, I would have to say it was. Scored 24 in the second half against UCLA. That was a pretty good one, too. Forgot about that one. But still, in all, in terms of an all-around game, this probably was his best. The UCLA game was probably the most exciting, the way he did.
Do you have to talk to the guys at all about handling the happy talk that's around them now, or or because they're so mature, older, that they don't have to deal with that?
We always have to address it. One thing over the years, we always talk to our team about, I think it's human nature to deal with adversity a lot of times better than you deal with success. Adversity, there's something within us that makes us fight. We're about to fall, something within us makes us, a lot of people get up again. It's so easy to get content when you experience some success. It's just human nature. A lot of people do it. But I think our team had its struggles early enough to where I don't think we've been successful enough for us to right now decide we've arrived, but we still mention it.
When you look at Colorado, you see what?
Very good defensively, very good spacing offensively with multiple weapons. Stanford had multiple weapons. Colorado, I think, has just as many, if not more. Tough challenge for us. I said earlier, maybe best 1 and 3 team in conference in America, Colorado.
Did that game last year get out of hand because of them, or was it the environment?
What did you say, environment?
Environment.
Okay, not altitude.
I just said environment, which encompasses
Altitude.
okay.
The altitude, after a couple of, mentally maybe it affected some guys, but you run up and down the floor a couple of times and realize your chest is burning a little more than usual, but I'm okay. And then you go on, you know. I still say about that game, the first 8 minutes, I believe it was, we were up. So if the altitude was an issue, it would have been an issue then. It didn't affect us then, it shouldn't affect you later. They just beat us. They were just better than us that night. Nothing we could say.
How much have you used that night in particular as exhibit A, if you just go down and chuck up shots quickly without working the ball offensively, this is what can happen?
How much did we use what?
The Colorado game. It seemed
Oh,
that was-
we did during that year. This year we've not made reference to it at all. Really? We kind of haven't had to. Our guys have done a pretty good job on the road of working the ball and not forcing up shots. But last year, yeah, we would reference being on the road and just coming down and taking contested shots. Or the wrong people taking shots early.
You talk a little bit about Aziz. When people look at him and they say, he doesn't score that well in the basket. His hands aren't that good, but he's sure doing some nice things out there.
Yeah, people that have watched our games recently, I don't know how much they make those comments because he's really improved. I mean, he caught some zingers coming through the lane last game against Stanford. I mean, not only caught it, but went right up and scored on it. A couple times on the rebounds, he showed good hands and he's shown good footwork. He's just done a nice job. It's his 3rd year playing with us. He's playing with a lot of confidence.
Do you think that Colorado team has, and it's hard for you to know because you're not sort of with them, but how do you think a loss like what they did at Arizona would impact them? And when you see them, are they the same team as they were early in the season?
Well, that's a good question. I'll try to attempt to answer the Arizona one. To go out, I remember our Stanford loss, the 2.1 second defeat at Stanford. You score and you think, well, this is over. This is over. You don't walk off the floor, but you're just thinking, be alert, do what I'm supposed to do, but we've got this. And then for it to change like that, I remember when Chris Hernandez made the 3 free throws and we went into overtime, looking at our guys' faces. And they were really receptive normally, but they looked at us like, we don't feel like playing another 5 minutes. This game is supposed to be over. And you could just see, you're just trying to, at that point, crisis control, with your team. Just look, we'll deal with this later. Right now we have another 5 minutes. And it seems like that may have been what happened in the Colorado game, because all of a sudden it's a 9-point game at the end and it was over. How long something like that lingers with you, who knows? But I would say it probably doesn't linger coming in here. That's what I would say. They'll come in here ready to go.
So after that loss to Stanford, it took you guys how long to get over that?
I think we bounced back pretty good, but I specifically remembering thinking to myself, this overtime is going to be a challenge. Because right now our heads are gone. Mentally, we're out of it.
With the competitive nature of this conference, so much has been made of getting wins on the road. Now that you have 3 under your belt, are you feeling a little better about your conference schedule, or is it too early to kind of get that better feeling?
Way too early. I'd rather it this way than the other way, being 0-3, don't get me wrong, but I've just seen it happen too many times. Someone starts out and they're about to be anointed as the champ in the NCAA tournament, Final Four, and a couple things happen, and then they're ready to run them out of town. It's just too early for us to sit down and start thinking about that. Are we proud of our team? Absolutely. Have we complimented our team on how we've gone about our business to get to this point? Absolutely. But, fellas, this is the standard. This is the foundation. We can't get away from this foundation. We have to build on this. This isn't good enough to win the league. We still have to get better. That's what that's where we're at right now.
You surprised at Kevin O'Neal's dismissal?
I'm always surprised on the collegiate level if someone gets relieved of their duties before the season ends. I'm always surprised at that. Who knows why? I don't know. That's not for me to say or judge. I just know it's always a surprise in college if something like that happens.
How difficult do you think it is for a team to have a mid-season dominant voice change like that and just kind of keep it together and make it through the rest of the year?
Depending on who it is and what they thought of the former coach. Some guys, really like playing for that coach, and the new guy comes in and they sniff him out and see if they want to play for this guy, and it takes a while. Other cases, now we can play, who knows, different. I don't know the makeup of their team, so it's hard to tell.
Is there a reason why your boss walked in for a second and walked out so quickly?
Now, he comes to conference, he comes to this, he's been here before, and he's left before, same way. Can you think of any reason?
No, I can't at all.
Any more here? Any questions from the teleconference?
Coach, I have a quick question. This is Chris Fetters.
Yeah, Chris?
Coach, was just curious. I was just doing a little bit of math on you talked about the high post offense early in camp when you went full bore at it, and you talked about how you wanted to be more effective maybe in your set offenses at the end of games. Have you started to see a correlation with that, especially with these last 3 games on the road?
What I see is that down the stretch on the road, we've been taking better shots this year than we did last year. Sometimes we've had athletes that were very gifted offensively, where they would turn difficult shots into something that didn't look as difficult, and you know, we hit them. But I just think our shot selection and our purpose that we're playing with down the stretch in games is much better.
But thank you.
You're welcome.
And how's your health? Team health?
Much better.
Scott, is he okay?
Yeah. This, you know, he's been bothered. He tweaked his knee. It's been nagging him. Just, you know, he's able to play through it, but it's been nagging. So, but he's able to play.
He's just bothered then, he's not injured.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Lorenzo, Colorado, the numbers say Dinwiddie and, the other guy.
Booker?
Booker's their guys, but is Roberson still the guy they go to inside quite a bit? Is that?
You know, Roberson is averaging just a little over 10 points a game this year. His average is down from last year, but 11.8 rebounds a game, that's hard to do.
Yeah.
And he's a really good shot blocker. He impacts the game aside from just scoring. So he is certainly capable. He's capable of going out there and getting 20, 25 points, no doubt about it.
All right.
Alrighty,
Thank you, everybody.
take it easy.